This is the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA, a weekly recap of your Eagles and news around the NFL. Broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's, tonight's show is brought to you by Rob's Automotive and Collision, BCWSA, Chickies and Pete's, Begley, Carlin and Mandio Law Firm, Penworth Financial Services, Penn Community Bank, The Capitol Grill, and Ventresca's LTD. We now go live to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA. Now, here are your hosts, from Inside the Birds, Geoff Mosher and Andrew DiCecco.
All right, you're listening to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, seen live at WBCBsports.com. I am Geoff Mosher from Inside the Birds, alongside Andrew DiCecco, InsideTheBirds.com, and our special guest tonight. He is a Hall of Famer.
I am.
An Eagles Hall of Famer.
I am.
Offensive tackle, Trey Thomas.
All right. How's everybody?
How you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm fantastic, dude.
Well, that's great, man. We're live.
I mean, Florida State is back.
That's
We're winning. Come on, no. You know what? You're not giving me enough cheer.
You can't.
Dude,
that's
we're
right.
back.
I'm a Penn Stater, man. We're top 3 right now.
Oh, you got a whiteout game right now.
We have a whiteout game versus
I
Oregon.
want to go to a whiteout game.
I have been. It is fantastic, Trey.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I had to go check out that experience one time.
Yeah, Tallahassee State College, probably very different.
Yeah, very different. Yeah, absolutely.
But the atmosphere,
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, it's great to have you. We're here in Marlton, New Jersey at Chickies and Pete's. Awesome show tonight, Tuesday. We got, listen, you know, Andrew and Trey, you guys know Eagles fans ride or die every Sunday, Thursday, Monday night, whenever the Eagles playing. I'm not sure that Eagles fans are yet, like the color has returned to their face from that game Sunday, that 33-26 win over the Rams. You, Andrew, and I were there as reporters. Trey, I saw you at the game, but I think we need to do a check around the Del Valle to make sure pulses are okay. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah. That was a wild game. You know, to just see the ebbs and flows of it, you know, to see how, okay, you come right out the gate, drive down and score, and then you're like, wait a minute, hold on. You know, you see that Lane Johnson goes down. And I think that when Lane went down, you can just see how much he meant to this team. Mm-hmm. I think it took a lot of wind out of the sails, you know, to see a leader like that go down. But these young guys, your young core guys, when you're looking at what's going on the defensive side of the ball, and then Jalen Hurts just saying, all right, I'm going to rally the troops, this right here is what that team is all about. And to go out there and fight and find a way to win that game, it was absolutely amazing.
This is how far, Andrew, and you know this, that the Eagles have come over the last 3 to 4 to 5 years. There was a guarantee in life, right? What do they say? Death, taxes, and if Lane Johnson doesn't play for the Eagles, they lose.
That's right.
Their record without Lane Johnson was terrible compared to their record with, but as Howie Roseman has built the roster up and the depth on the offensive line, we know the Eagles focus on it more so than most teams. It's not that way anymore, and you get a guy like, we'll talk about Matt Pryor in a second, but Fred Johnson comes in.
Absolutely.
And he holds the fort down and plays so well.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising to me that the Eagles didn't go to Fred Johnson initially because, I mean, I was under the assumption that he was going to be their 6th offensive lineman, their, swing tackle on game day. But Fred Johnson did not rep at right tackle at all that week. That was Matt Pryor. Matt Pryor had repped at right guard and right tackle in training camp. So you got to give credit to the Eagles for pulling the plug when they realized after 15 snaps that it wasn't working out with Matt Pryor. Mm-hmm. But that's why Fred Johnson's here. That's why the Eagles went out and got him before the season, to bolster the depth and give them someone who they can count on in a critical moment like that.
Yeah, Trey, that's an interesting point he's making because, you know Jeff Stoutler really well. You've coached on a team with him. I haven't seen him put a guy in and then pull a guy as quickly as he did with Matt Pryor. He's generally, I want to say, stubborn in a good way, where he feels like the decisions he makes will work.
I mean, he gave him 2 quarters.
He did.
He gave him 2 quarters, and I think he waited until after halftime. You know, that last sack fumble, he was like, all right, that's it. You know, I got to make the pull. But, okay, so one of the things that you have to go look back at is how Coach Stoutland coaches his offensive line. Mm-hmm. He does not flip, so guys, he usually, if Matt Pryor is your right side guy, Matt Pryor is your right side guy, that's how he's going to train. Fred Johnson is your left side guy. He does not allow guys to really go from left to right. and that's just how he trains it. I think it's smart to do it, just because the muscle memory that has to happen once guys switch sides is very difficult to bounce back and forth. So that was one of the things that made it so impressive for Fred Johnson to step in and say, all right, I'm going to play right tackle. I don't think he's taken a rep on the right side since he's been back.
Right. That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? Because he's
correct.
always been the left side guy. That's it. So it's been weeks. He probably only had a chance to take a couple sets when Stout said, hey, man, if this things go bad, I need you to get ready to go. He probably took a couple sets on the side. All right, let's go. You got to go.
Yeah.
And to go out there and to hold it down the way he did, Fred Johnson played a hell of a game.
Yeah, absolutely did. I love the one thing I like about Fred, and by the way, it was probably I'm going to congratulate you on saying something nice about a Gator. I know that could be.
That's got to be tough.
I know the Seminole in you probably winces inside.
And then seeing him going against my former Seminole as well, I'm like, wow.
Oh yeah, there
So
you go.
torn, But Fred, man, I mean, he just came out there. He played really extremely well. It was very balanced. When you saw him go out there, he played with extension. That's what you want to see at when you're talking about offensive line play. I want you to play with long arms. You're not bodied up.
Right.
And then you start to see where, okay, they felt like, you know what, we don't have to slide the line to you. We don't need to have Saquon Barkley protect you, because when you try to protect a player on the offensive line, then you expose the quarterback, because one of those sacks happened because Saquon was there trying to help Matt Pryor get edge, and then you got a guy come up the B-gap, boom, that's a sack.
Yeah.
So anytime you try to protect the player on the offensive line, you expose the quarterback.
All right. So the Eagles, as we all know, we all saw it. They get down 26-7 after being up 7-0. They go 3 and out, then 3 and out, then 3 and out. Then they kneel down before the half. Then they go 3 and out again. And I can't believe it. The defending Super Bowl champs, Andrew, you were there. How loud you could hear the boos already coming down in week 3 for a 2-0 team. But it was ugly. The offense just had no life to it after that first touchdown. When you look back on it, right, and you've seen this offense be explosive, was there anything in your mind that might have triggered you that something was coming, or were you thinking this might be the day they don't figure it out?
Well, when you see the Rams not be able to capitalize and settle for field goals, you get into halftime and you think, well, if the Eagles are able to figure this out or get any semblance of offense going, they're going to fight their way back into this game. And if there's one thing that I've learned from covering this team under Nick Sirianni, it's that they are a resilient bunch. They don't flinch, no one. And they realize that it takes a collective effort to get it done. And that's what you saw in the second half. As soon as they put Fred Johnson in there and they're able to run their offense and not be limited, you saw what they were able to do. They opened things up.
Sure. And Trey, just from your own experience, I mean, you've been a player, you've been in situations like that. The Eagles had some unbelievable comebacks during your heyday. What is it like when you kind of have a period of a game like that where the offense cannot do anything? Do guys pull together? Do they get frustrated? What's that feeling like?
I think there is some frustration because you're trying. I mean, you're trying to make that play work. But I think you also look at, all right, hold on. We're running these plays into some bad situations. I think the Rams did an excellent job of defending in the run. They came in and they loaded the box. They played 5 down whenever they could. And everybody says, all right, well, hey, just run the ball. It's not – to me, all right, as an offensive lineman, I'm a pass-first guy. I want to pass first because if I can spread you out, then I can light you up in the run game. And that's why, to me, I feel like pass opens up the run. I don't want to use run to open up the pass. I want to use pass to open up the run, especially when you have A.J. Brown, you got Slim on the other side, you got Dallas Goedert, you have way too many weapons, and an offensive line that is extremely good at protecting. I would air it out as much as possible, make you play me in a 6-man box, and then I'll come and light you up with the run.
Does it feel like, and I'll ask this both of you, Trey, I'll start with you. Do you feel like, I hear what you're saying, and that's certainly some Andy Reid era, let's do that. But under Nick Sirianni and with Jalen as the quarterback, they've never really, outside of a game here or there, decided they were going to come out and throw the ball at a 65, 70% clip. They generally
Well, now, I'm not
stick
saying
to
to
what
go
they
that
do.
high.
Well, that's what I was asking you. How do they
Yeah.
find that balance between passing more to be less conservative, as A.J. Brown would say, and yet not coming out of their comfort zone of who they are?
I would say that let's go a little bit more 11 personnel. Let me
Okay.
spread you out a little bit more. All I need is a tight end on the line of scrimmage every now and then. I don't need 2 tight ends. This offensive line does not need everybody packed into the box. If you can give me one tight end every now and then, I'm good. And Coach Stoutland is one of the when you go back and you look at the runs that have been extremely effective for this offensive line have been inside zone runs. And the only way you can make inside zone runs work is you spread everybody out and you make it that 5 to 6 man box.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you go 11 personnel in that situation. Spread them out a little bit.
Which you can run from, by
right,
the way.
Sure, of course. It gives you optionality. And I think that's something that, as the Eagles start to work through the season, you have to wonder if that's something that they're going to implement a little bit more of.
Right. Are you guys into analytics like EPA, expected points?
No.
All right. Well, the Eagles, usually they tell you something, even if they're misleading. The Eagles did lead the NFL last year in EPA out of 11 personnel when they ran the ball. So they certainly don't have to be in as much 12, which is 2 tight ends for those listening at home, as much as maybe they feel like they need to be.
Well, because everybody plays a version of nickel. Where you're going to get 4 down linemen and 2 linebackers, and the rest will be secondary players. So if I can line up in 11 personnel and maybe have that tight end there every now and then now I'm getting a 6-man box. And I like my 5 or 6 against your 5 or 6 all day. And then if you try to bring a safety in there, I got receivers that can come up there and we'll light you up. So that's why I feel 11 personnel, it suits this team a lot better, especially when you're dealing with a Saquon Barkley type of running back that you have.
Absolutely.
All right, so the big question coming out of this sort of Jekyll and Hyde performance that a lot of fans and people want to know is, was that dormancy in the first half play calling, execution, or play design? What? Andrew?
In my opinion, it's always a culmination of both, or all 3 in your case, because, I mean, it's hard to just pinpoint it solely on play calling because there are plays there to be made. There are in every game. So I think to kind of put the onus on Kevin Patullo as being I guess him being the anchor that's holding this offense back, I think that's a little short-sighted. But I saw a lack of execution as well. We had a unique vantage point watching it pretty much an all-22 view in the press box, and there were plays there to be made.
Yeah. Trey, before you answer that, I also want to throw into this because you have the experience of having to go from one offensive coordinator to another. Who was the first one for you? Was it when Andy came out? When Andy came.
Well,
was it Dana?
I don't even know. Yeah, Dana, yeah.
And then was it Brad Childress after that, or was someone even before that?
Brad Childress, then maybe
Marty Morningway.
Yeah, man.
Right.
I was just like, I don't know who's calling. Call it and let's go. I didn't care.
But did you ever feel like a guy needed a few games to figure it out, even after?
You know what? I wasn't the type of player to think about that.
Right.
You know, I had my hands full. I got the baddest pass rush over me. I ain't got time to be worried about what you call. Just call it.
Right.
And then half the time it was going to be a pass anyway. So, you know, I had to be ready to go.
Right.
But I think that it was a little bit of both. You know, when you have Lane go down, I'm just saying, I think the importance of Lane going down was extremely important with this offense. And then you got Matt Pryor going out there. He probably thinking in this game, you know what, Lane is going to play. This is going to be one of those games that he's going to play the entire game. You know, he wasn't ready to get in there and step in and have to hold down the fort. But you never know when your name is going to be called, and that's where you should always be ready. But, you know, to me, I think that took a lot of the wind out of the sail. And then they felt like, all right, you know what, you can't protect. So you're going to have to run, so we're going to load the box. And I think a lot of that affected how this offense was going for the first half.
Yeah. One thing I think we can all, like, calm the masses the best we can, which is kind of crazy because the team's 3-0. But there is a lot of, Kevin Patullo doesn't know what he's doing. But just like the coordinators we said under Andy, whether it was Dana or Marty or Brad, they were running an offense Andy wanted. They were running his version of the West Coast. When you watch them succeed, along with when they're still running the same play concepts, the same play design. This is still the Eagles' offense that we've seen the last 3 years. It's just, I think when you have a new play caller, it's just, does he have a feel for when to call those same plays that somebody else might have called at a different time? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean,
having a feel.
He just called his 3rd game ever as a play caller, and I think that's really important. And whether or not folks like to accept it or not, I mean, the month of September, by and large, in the NFL is viewed as an extension of the preseason.
Right.
It's preseason for the play caller. It's preseason for offense, defense, and special teams. I went on the record before the season started at circling week 5 as when you're really going to get a sense for what their identity is on the offensive side of the ball and defensive side of the ball and what they're ultimately going to be.
Yeah. Trey, also, to hammer home a point you made earlier about what the Rams were doing defensively, they came into the game blitzing at a 12% rate. Okay, that's really low. Third lowest in the league. In that game, they blitzed at over a 35% rate. So I think what you're seeing here is teams are going a little bit out of character because it's really hard to beat the Eagles. So they got to figure out a way to do some different things. And that causes the Eagles issues because, as you hear coaches say all the time, unscouted looks, things they don't prepare for.
You know what? Okay. Well, yeah. You go back and you look at how this offense has handled the blitz now. I mean, you go back and you look at what they did against Kansas City, and you're dealing with Steve Spagnuolo, one of the best blitzers in the game, and they locked him down. They did a heck of a job of redirecting, making calls. Landon Dickerson is the one that makes all the calls, and he directs that offensive line. So he's extremely important when it comes to that. But when you blitz this offensive line, Coach Stoutland has prepared these guys well enough that they pick up the blitz a lot, and they do a really good job with it. You go back and you look at this game, there were some wild stunts that they switched off and was able to handle it, and they gave them a chance to get the ball out. But, you know, if you blitz them, all right, cool. Somebody has to be open on the edge, and you have the dogs out there that can make those plays.
And those dogs came through in the second half, of course. All right, we got to take a break here. You're listening to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your world champion Philadelphia Eagles. Go where the players go. Come join us all season for Eagles pep rallies, watch parties, and the best in-game experience anywhere. Ice-cold draft beer, world-famous food, and fan-friendly fun for every Eagles game. Every Monday night in South Philly, the Jordan Mailata Show, presented by Miller Lite, followed by Chicky and Pete's Players Lounge with a current player, hosted by Ike Reese and Hugh Douglas. Go where the players go. Chickies and Pete's.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. Every champion needs a good game plan. BCWSA and I want to make sure you have a game plan when it comes to conserving our most precious resource, water. Whether you're washing dishes, brushing your teeth, or watering your garden, there are ways you can save water and save money. Visit bcwsa.net for tips on conserving water. BCWSA, proven.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, to get all your essentials in one place, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Hair Cuttery, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, R&J Smoothies and Juices, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one stop for all your shopping needs at South Oxford Valley Road and South Olds Boulevard in Fairless Hills.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts from Inside the Birds, Geoff Mosher and Andrew DiCecco.
That's right. We're joined by former Eagles offensive tackle, a Hall of Famer, Eagles Hall of Famer, Trey Thomas.
Yeah.
And it's time now for this week's injury review, brought to you by the attorneys at Bagley, Carlin, and Mandio. Contact them today for a free consultation at 215-806-3689. That's 215-806-3689. Well, when we talk about the injury report, obviously we talk about the guy we've been talking about that they missed for most of that game, Lane Johnson, who sustained a neck injury in the game. I don't believe he was in the locker room after the game.
No, he was.
Oh, you saw? Did he talk?
I don't think he talked.
Yeah, usually the guys who get hurt don't talk. They don't want to talk about it. I don't want to speculate, but Trey, you played the position. You hurt your neck. It's probably not great for any position that you play, but I can't imagine it's great for linemen.
Yeah.
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 That's about it, right?
Yeah, I don't. You know, so they said he had a stinger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That is an injury that has like a various degrees of.
Yeah.
I've seen guys go on
See,
IR.
yeah. I'm old school.
I know.
Yeah,
you played
so,
with no knees.
No. But hey, man, if you've never had one, it could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I hope he's back next week. Mm-hmm. But if not, then you give Fred Johnson a week to kind of get himself together. So that gives Coach Stoutland time to kind of work with him, which I think Coach Stoutland was one of the best in the game when getting guys ready. You know what? When we had the Hall of Fame game, no, not the Hall of Fame game, the alumni game, when we all came back, and I wanted to go down on the field and go see Coach Stoutland, because I was like, look, man, the biggest feather in Coach Stoutland's cap to me is what he did with Mekhi Becton and making him taking a left tackle and putting him in right guard in one game?
Yeah.
A preseason?
Yeah.
And making him a Pro Bowl right guard and in 2 weeks? And I think that's Coach Stoutland is one of the best in the game when it comes to that. So if Lane can't go, all right, you have a full week to get Fred ready to go, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and you would have to think it would be Fred taking the reps at right tackle this week.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Other injuries that happened in the game. Well, Darius Cooper went out. By the way, only us three who kind of watch the tape and find things that the common person might not see on TV, they have snuck Darius Cooper into games as 11 personnel, but they're using him, I don't want to say like Johnny Wilson, but they always run with him in the slot. They clearly like his strength
and the push
as a wide
play.
receiver.
They
Yes, and the push play.
He's actually playing more snaps than John Mechie.
Yeah, how about that?
Over the last 2 weeks.
Because of being in the short yardage, the push play.
Yeah, they like his toughness and physicality. Nick Sirianni talked about that after he had made the team, that he's sort of the grimy type of player who can do some of the things that Johnny Wilson was able to provide for the offense.
Yeah. And now he left with a shoulder. Right. And then there was one more injury.
Adoree
Jackson, yeah. That should be an interesting one.
He left with a groin injury, and he did not return that game. Jacorian Bennett came in. Looked like he may have gotten a little dinged on that field goal block when he took out the punter.
Right.
Vic Fangio said something interesting today about Keely Ringo. Said that at the end of the summer, he said, I told Keely to, your time's going to come. You're going to play, so stay ready. He also said that about Jacorian Bennett after I asked him about him. What have you seen from him? He said, he was going to play for us this season. They also have Mac McWilliams, the rookie corner from UCF, who's mostly a nickel. He's mostly been playing nickel, but he can play outside as well. So they have some optionality if Adoree can't go.
Okay. Now, we did have a fan walk up to us and ask, do you think the Eagles will bring in another offensive tackle or cornerback? And I think we automatically ruled out offensive tackle, unless Lane was going to miss a long time. I don't think that's the case. But corner now is an area, Andrew, where you just said they have some bodies, but it's also an area where Howie is just always poking, always lurking, seeing if there's a better deal around the corner.
As Adam Kaplan likes to say, depth isn't about how many players you have at one position. It's about the quality of those players. This is a really good opportunity for them to learn about what they have in Keely Ringo, Jacorian Bennett, ahead of the trade deadline, so that you can get a better assessment of what that room is, what kind of depth you have there. And then you kind of go from there. But if there's a better option, you know that Howie Roseman's going to leave no stone unturned for the betterment of that team.
All right, and then the last one, he didn't play, but he's starting to get, ramped back up. It would be Will Shipley, the backup running back, who was supposed to, again, we talk about some of the offense and the newer concepts, but he's been hurt, so they haven't been able to really use him.
Yeah, so Will practiced the last 2 days of last week in a limited capacity. One would think that barring, if he doesn't have a setback, he will be able to go this week. And watching how they were unable to field those knuckleballs on the kickoffs, it made you really, wonder for how much Michael Clay missed Will Shipley back there, because he reads those type of balls and those type of things very well.
Trey, what do you think? We got dynamic kickoffs now.
Yeah.
We got knuckleball kickers. Is this the further removed you get from this game? Are you worried about it's gonna? I don't know if you saw Happy Gilmore 2 and the crazy golf thing where they're playing in snow.
It's so weird, But man, I mean, to have that problem though, as a kickoff return, come on, man.
I'm with you. I get it once, right? Because you can't practice against it.
Yeah.
But this is not. Five times.
Come on, man.
2 guys, too. 5 times.
And they brought Tank Bigsby here with the primary objective with him being the kick returner.
Right.
Initially. And he had at least 1 or 2. Mechie had a couple.
Right.
Michael Clay, the Eagles special teams coordinator, talked about that today, about how Jake Elliott and Braden Mann tried to really hone in on what Joshua Carty, the Rams kicker, was doing, and they weren't able to even replicate that because they hadn't seen it before. So I don't even know how you would practice that, but you almost have to act like a shortstop, I imagine, and being able to kind of square your body off. That's kind of the way that he was equating
right?
it. What's
He's
that?
Still just kicking the ball.
The ball
right?
still goes to the. It just doesn't spin.
All right. I mean, you know what? Like, that's one of those positions that I really respect because, I mean, you know, there's a lot that's happening. I mean, but you still got to kick. He's still just kicking the ball.
Right.
Kicking the ball.
All right. So he's putting like a little curve on it.
Right.
Hitting it with a little English.
Like a change-up, I guess.
Like, you ever see a quarterback get hit while he's throwing and the ball floats in the air and somebody figures out a way to still catch it and run? It seems like the Eagles couldn't get that part of it. Like, the ball's in the air. It ain't spinning like it normally spins. It's just kind of floating. Just catch it. It's not that hard.
Well, you figure after like the first or second one, you'd figure you'd have a grasp on it, on how to get a better read on it. But here we are.
I wonder if Michael Clay. Anybody play baseball here? You know, just looking for someone who's seen a changeup, like can understand a knuckleball. Figure out. Go ahead. Go return it. Trey, 2 blocked field goals.
Amazing.
Right? Now I want you to give us your most scientific X and O breakdown of how this happened to the Rams in the most important moment for them.
Offensive linemen hate field goal protection.
Why?
Because all you're doing is just taking a lick. Everybody just sits there and you're like, all right, you know what? You're always taught, all right, I want to take my A gap, B gap, or whatever. You want to step, and then you just sit there and you just allow that defensive lineman to just run through you. You know what I'm saying? And you're all just like, you know, everybody's like, all right, I want to just step, and then you just take it. And you want to just die a slow death because you're going to die. You're dying. You know what I'm saying? But you want to die a slow death because you're taking 2 guys to the chest and you just like, Lord, please just hurry up and kick this ball so we can get this over with. And a lot of times guys kind of just coast through it because you feel like, all right, it's a field goal.
Right.
Kick the ball.
Right.
But, man, these guys came through back to back.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Big
wondering,
time.
does it make it different the way the Eagles align Carter and Davis right next to each other? And then I believe on the game-winning, or losing for them, kick, that was a backup guard in.
Kevin
Dotson's backup.
It was Bo Limmer, yes.
Bo Limmer, right, who was a center, I think, right? Or
he was their backup center, yeah.
That's
he
a lot of.
He didn't have the punch, and die slow. He didn't have the die slow part.
No, he died fast.
And then you got Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, who is just absolutely massive, running right down the middle of you. Like, what? Even if he was able to set and bull and hop on it, there was nothing he could do. And then, I mean, Jordan Davis is what? He's what, 6'6"?
6'6", yeah.
6'6".
I mean, that's a massive individual. And then he puts his hands up there, blocks the field goal. First of all, you had Jalen Carter come through on the first one and block it, who's a beast of his own. And then Jordan Davis come through, blocks the field goal, scoops it up, and strides whatever it is to cover the spread.
61
Funny
yards.
how that happened.
He was clocked at 18.59 miles per hour.
How does he run faster than me?
That's pretty
He
incredible.
outweighs me by 200 pounds. Well, no, I wish. But
Jalen Carter said he's way faster than me.
yeah, that's pretty amazing. I mean, how many teams put their starting DTs out there on field goal kicks? Does everybody do that? Okay, I'm just making sure.
I'm pretty sure everybody, goes out there for field goal block.
Yeah.
Because you got to have that. You just never know.
Right.
It's not like an extra point where you just like, all right, everybody come off. This is going to be a hammy. But for a field goal, no, we need all hands on deck, especially in that particular situation.
Right. And yet, despite what you said about how difficult it is to have people running at you, field goals are kicked at a pretty much 85 and higher % regularity these days.
Yeah.
So even though the offensive lineman got to take it on the chin, you don't see it, let alone once, but twice in a game.
In the same quarter.
In the same quarter. And then the Jets did it later in the day, and, of course, in Jets fashion, they lost.
And Michael Clay highlighted Byron Young and Moro Jomo also for what they were able to do on that play as well.
Right. And what specifically did you guys see from that? Were they just getting through their guy? Because they did collapse the entire side of that line.
Yeah, I mean, they dominated their side of their side of the line, and it made it all. It kind of muddied things up.
Yeah.
Jordan Davis completely just walked Bo Limmer back into the kicker, and you saw what happened.
All right, we're going to go to a break in a second. I just have to ask this as we go in. You're Sean McVay. You've done everything you absolutely can to win this game, and you lose it in that fashion. How do you sleep that night?
We can't.
Do you sleep that night?
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I think he goes home, you know.
He goes home.
Yeah,
Is it like Andy? Like
he's
he
on
just shakes
painkillers right now. He's still recovering.
He'll be all right.
He's still recovering. He'll be all right.
I thought you were going to bring up that he's married to a model, so he'll be all right.
That helps too.
Yeah, here you go. All right, great talk. Great talk. In the next segment, we're going to talk about Saquon Barkley and how to get this guy sprung. We'll do that. We got to take a break. You are listening to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Do you have a large party of 10, 20, even 50 people? We can't wait to treat you like family at Chicky and Pete's. Forget about deposits or credit card reservations. Making a reservation for your large group is effortless at Chickies and Pete's. Lots of options to celebrate and make your night out unforgettable. Order off the menu or select from food and drink packages, private party rooms available. Make your reservations right now at chickiesandpete's.com. And don't forget, Chicky and Pete's gift cards are the perfect fit for any occasion. Only at Chickies and Pete's.
Capital Health's primary care network continues to grow, bringing its extensive option of locations to your neighborhood. Whether you're scheduling a wellness checkup or not feeling well, advanced medicine starts with a Capital Health primary care doctor at locations near you in Mercer, Bucks, and Burlington counties. To find a Capital Health primary care location that's convenient for you, visit capitalmedicalgroup.org. That's capitalmedicalgroup.org.
Hey BCWSA customers, this is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League Champion Phillies. My friends at BCWSA are committed to providing us with safe, reliable water and sewer services. They operate state-of-the-art treatment facilities, provide clean drinking water, and make much-needed investments to protect our environment and ensure a sustainable future. Learn how BCWSA's investments help grow and serve our communities. Visit bcwsa.net. BCWSA, proven.
Rob's Automotive and Collision Center in Lower Bucks County is a full-service repair center with competitive prices, top-of-the-line products, and the finest auto body and mechanical repair technicians anywhere. Rob's makes repairing your car easy. Same-day service guaranteed. Whether it's an oil change, state inspection, or a mechanical issue, Rob's will have you in and out and on your way. 2700 Veterans Highway in Bristol, 215-826-9200 or 24-hour emergency towing. Call 215-826-0250.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, to get all your essentials in one place, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Hair Cuttery, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, R&J Smoothies and Juices, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one stop for all your shopping needs at South Oxford Valley Road and South Olds Boulevard in Fairless Hills.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts from Inside the Birds, Geoff Mosher and Andrew DiCecco.
That's right, and we are joined by Eagles Hall of Famer Trey Thomas. I've been working on my Michael Buffer voice.
Okay, that's what that is. All right, cool.
Trey Thomas.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We got an awesome crowd here at Chickies and Pete's in Marlton. Look at them. Look at them show up.
Yeah.
Great crowd. It's time now for this week's Penworth Financial Keys to the Game. The key to your financial future is Penworth Financial. Call them today at 267-997-4503 or visit penworth.com. All right, well, the Eagles, it does not get any easier, by the way, this schedule.
It never does.
They just went and beat an undefeated team, and now they have to go and play another undefeated team, one that has their number, so to speak, especially in their stadium, Raymond James Stadium, home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have really taken it to the Eagles over the last few years. Now, there will not be a Mike Evans, it sounds like, for the Bucs, so that limits them. They still are without Chris Godwin. However, how do the Eagles get their offense going quicker? And not just the pass offense, but the run offense. Saquon Barkley, he is waiting to break out. Andrew, what's going to happen here?
Well, I mean, they have to find a way to get him rolling. But honestly, it feels like they're just a play away. And Kevin Patullo spoke today about the coaching staff needing to collaborate and figure out a way to create more space for Saquon. But while I think some of it has to do with play calling, I can't help but wonder, watching the tape, if he's pressing a little bit. And I'm curious to get Trey's take on this. Saquon Barkley's averaging just 3.3 yards per carry. Based off a tape study, Trey, what are you seeing, and what can the Eagles do to get him rolling?
Pass the ball.
So it goes
To
back
get him
to
rolling, you
spreading
need
it
to be
out.
able to pass the ball. You need to be able to spread it out. You need to stop going with this 12 personnel. Trying to go with 2 tight ends. I think you go a little bit more 11 personnel, spread everybody out. You get a 6-man box, because Coach Stoutland is one of the best in the games when you're talking about combination blocks. And whenever you can get combination blocks, that's where you're operating Coach Stoutland's wheelhouse. So for you to be able to do that, you need to be able to air it out. You got to pass it. You're going to have to get A.J. Brown. You're going to have to get Slim involved. You have to hit some tight end passes, get Dallas involved. But for me, you got to spread this out, because if not, everybody's going to play you 5 down, put 2 linebackers in there. They're going to make it hard to run. And I don't care how many. You can sit up here and say, hey, we got to get them going, we got to get them going, we got to get them going. Well, you got 7, 8, 9 in the box, 7 or 8 in the box. You're not going to get them going.
You've seen tape, you've watched it. I'm wondering if you think at all, because there was sort of I don't know if to call it a narrative, because some of it is true. If you look at running backs who have touched the ball as much as Saquon Barkley touched it last year, it's hard for them to duplicate that success, and they wear down. But when you're watching him on tape, you're not seeing – are you seeing anything differently from him?
No, I'm not seeing any wearing down of Saquon. No, not at all. I mean, you saw a play just in that last drive that they had where Saquon comes up in the hole. You got a defensive end that crashes it. He spins off of him and still hits the front side gap. I think Saquon is still an extremely great athlete. There's no slowdown in his he's definitely haven't lost a step. It's just that you're running him into a 5, 6, 7-man box.
Right.
You know, when they're playing 5 down with 2 linebackers over the top, it makes it hard. You need to be able to throw the defense out of that, throw them out of it so that they play the pass, lighten the box, and then now you get this offensive line getting combination blocks, and then you'll see Saquon really take off.
And to your point on how they're playing a lot of 12 personnel and putting 2 tight ends on the field lately in trying to run, their second tight end is not a very good blocker. So I almost sometimes wonder if it's working against them. And to Trey's point, Andrew, put 3 wide, spread out the defense a little bit, and give yourself some more lanes instead of just trying to put Grant Calcaterra out there and ask him to block a DN.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement. I'm not so sure why they're going heavy 12, especially the previous week when Dallas Goedert wasn't there. There was a lot of 12 personnel.
That really surprised me.
So you're putting Grant Calcaterra and Kylan Granson there. Kylan Granson's not an inline blocker, nor is Grant Calcaterra. I'm interested to see if they utilize Cam Latu, who they elevated from the practice squad a little bit more. He's a much more physical blocker at the point of attack. But they need to go more 11. And I'm in full agreement with what Trey was saying. But to kind of further debunk the narrative that Saquon Barkley is maybe running out of steam coming off that 2,000-yard season, you see the toughness and physicality and contact balance that he's running with from first quarter to quarter 4. So you're not able to do that if you're running out of steam. I think he's got plenty of juice. Now it's just about execution and getting things rolling offensively to better balance out what they're trying to do.
I think one of the things that you're going to see as well, and this is just because, all right, so let's just talk about this real quick. Whenever you're in a gun progression and you're in a gun formation and you have running back to the right, 9 times out of 10, what you're going to get is a 3 technique away from him and a 1 technique that's on his side.
Right.
So I think one of the things that you're going to have to start doing, if you really want to see this offensive line take off, is start running same side inside zone, where you say, okay, I want Saquon to just take a step left, and then we're going right back into that 1 technique, because now you're going to get combination block on the backside. So that's how you start forcing some of those matchups when everybody says, all right, you know what, he's in the right, we're going to put the 3 technique opposite of him. So that shuts down a lot of that. And I think also one of the things that you need to do is, if you're going to have the tight end on the line of scrimmage, and if you have a possible combination block up to the second level, I cannot have that tight end try to jump around the defensive end to shoot up there to that linebacker, because it muddies everything up.
Right.
I would rather them work together with the tackle, get some push, and then now we make something happen.
Sure. So the running a counter almost, right, where he sort of runs to the same direction where he's aligned.
He just steps to the left. All you got to do is take a little step to the left, give the lineman time, and then you come right back to it. You saw that. You go back and you look at what the Fred Johnson, the play that they ran on the right side where Fred Johnson knocked that defensive end and he went upfield. That was a same side inside zone run. It's just a defensive end crash Fred knocked him down and just kept climbing up to the second level.
Right.
So it's something that they're already doing. It's just that they got to kind of keep doing it a little bit more.
And by the way, while we're on the subject of offensive lineman, Trey, I would love to hear your opinion on what you've observed from Tyler Steen through the first 3 games.
Yeah, you know what? When you look at, first of all, the right guard is the hardest position on that offensive line, just because you're the one that has to do the silent count. You have to turn, and you're running silent count at home. So it's not just, so sometimes you're operating blind. As soon as you turn your head around, you tap the center, and you just got to trust whatever the call is that's there. But I think that he's been doing extremely well. I think Steen has been a really good guard. There are times that I feel like he gets a little bit off balance and gets lost in space, but I think overall he's a really good guard.
I always felt bad, Trey, to your point about those right guards for teams like out in L.A., or when the Chargers in San Diego, and they were playing an East Coast team, and their fans they'd have more East Coast fans, right, opponent fans in their stadium, and they'd be really loud, and then the home team would have to go to a silent count. That's one of the advantages you should. I know sometimes you do have to use the silent count at home, but not always, and they just never had that advantage.
Well, you know what, for me, especially when we started playing, I preferred the silent count.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of cadence. Because at times, sometimes the quarterback, they start, especially with McNabb, he would get into your cadence. So it's blue 88, said, hut. So when you look at the tackles, the way they get that jump, they're not looking at the ball. They're off the rhythm of that cadence. And if there's any lag in that cadence, if the quarterback sees a safety and he blew it, they're gone,
right.
Just because they're used to the rhythm of it. But for me, I preferred the silent count because I knew once his head turned, I was gone.
Right.
So I preferred that rhythm, especially when we're in no huddle.
Right.
If we're in no huddle, I want to do silent count just because I can time that a little bit better than having to deal with the cadence.
Interesting. I would have not
I don't
thought
want to
about
nerd
that.
out too
Glad you
much
said
with
that.
But yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. Let's flip sides, because one of the biggest issues for the Eagles when they face the Bucs is that Todd Bowles wakes up and gets out of bed thinking of this next blitz. And he doesn't just always blitz, he disguises blitz. He breaks down protection schemes as well as anybody in the sport. So as an offensive lineman, Trey, when you know you're going up against a guy who's going to put a lot of guys at scrimmage, try to mess up your blocking patterns, you're going to go 5-0 at sometimes, and then he's not even going to bring 5, he brings 4, right? How important is it to be, I guess, the communication? How difficult is that to deal with?
Well, everything is from Landon Dickerson. Landon Dickerson controls that offensive line. Now, Cam Jurgen, he makes a couple calls, but Landon Dickerson is the one that navigates a lot of what's going on when it becomes protection and stuff. So, and he's extremely smart. You're not fooling Landon Dickerson. There are times where everything looks like, all right, hey, we're coming left, and Landon has called everybody and say, no, we're going right, and he picks up the blitz. Dude, Landon Dickerson is extremely smart, and he's going to be in that meeting room. And that's one of the things that I don't think a lot of people really understood. When you had Cam Jurgen, Kelsey, and Landon Dickerson, you had 3 centers in that interior offensive line, and Landon Dickerson is the guy that's going to make the calls. But, he's going to sit in that meeting room, and he's going to be right there with Cam, and I think that when Landon Dickerson is going to be the guy that's going to navigate a lot of what's going on.
Andrew, I'm sure that Todd Bowles saw what Trey was talking about before, is that there are times where Saquon – so maybe he was hoping Matt Pryor, but there was a free rusher on that play.
You talking about the one that McCullough got him?
Yeah,
Number 2?
Usually the running back, I would think, is supposed to be responsible.
He's supposed to pick that up.
So Saquon at times is not the best at blitz pickup.
No, he's not.
And so this is an area where I think Todd Bowles is going to really try to say, hey, if we can get him confused as where we're coming, that's what we're going to do. That's
the first thing I thought of when I went back and rewatched the Rams game, is that Todd Bowles is going to look at that and try to exploit it. So I'm not quite sure. Saquon Barkley's not that adept in terms of pass pro. The Eagles are going to have to find a way around that, because they're going to throw some things at him that's going to have them guessing throughout the whole afternoon.
Is that then become on Jalen to understand that?
No, I think that what you're going to find, if Lane Johnson is playing this game, you don't have to worry about it. Because
he's played in some of the games plenty of the games that they've lost to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just worry about the free rushers.
Yeah,
Trey.
but you're not. You don't have to worry about the same. You don't have to cover for him.
True.
So you know what I'm saying? Because on that particular side, where you had the secondary player come up the B gap, That was because Saquon went over there to kind of help Matt Pryor because he felt like he was getting edged. And I think that was something that was talked about. So he went over there to try to save Matt Pryor, and then you open up the B gap. So if you have Lane Johnson out there, or even with Fred Johnson out there, you don't have to worry about that. Then Saquon can go ahead, because you go back and you look at a couple blitzes. I can't think of which one it was. But you had where Fred Johnson set out, took the widest guy, and I think it was Saquon stepped in, took that backer that came up the B gap, formed it up. So as long as he doesn't have to try to protect the player, I think he's okay.
All right, we got one last break, then we'll come back and we'll continue to talk about the keys for the Eagles against this Tampa Bay team and what's going on in the Eagles world. Again, you are listening to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your world champion Philadelphia Eagles. Go where the players go. Come join us all season for Eagles pep rallies, watch parties, and the best in-game experience anywhere. Ice cold draft beer, world famous food, and fan-friendly fun for every Eagles game. Every Monday night in South Philly, the Jordan Mailata Show, presented by Miller Lite, followed by Chicky and Pete's Players Lounge with a current player, hosted by Ike Reese and Hugh Douglas. Go where the players go. Chickies and Pete's.
When an Eagles player gets hurt, the team takes care of him. When you get hurt, the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will take care of you. They understand that a severe accident can be a life-altering event. You need a reliable teammate to fight for you. The attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will get you great results. And if there's no recovery, there's no fee. Contact them today at 215-750-0110 for a free consultation. 215-750-0110 for a reliable ally that's on your side.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. Every champion needs a good game plan. BCWSA and I want to make sure you have a game plan when it comes to conserving our most precious resource, water. Whether you're washing dishes, brushing your teeth, or watering your garden, there are ways you can save water and save money. Visit bcwsa.net for tips on conserving water. BCWSA, proven.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, to get all your essentials in one place, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Hair Cuttery, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, R&J Smoothies and Juices, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one stop for all your shopping needs at South Oxford Valley Road and South Olds Boulevard in Fairless Hills.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts from Inside the Birds, Geoff Mosher and Andrew DiCecco.
That's right, and we're here in Marlton, New Jersey. Chickies and Pete's, great night. The windows are open. We got Eagles Hall of Famer Trey Thomas with us. We got Phillies on. It is an hey, I got to ask you this, Trey.
Yes.
As not, observing now as a former Philadelphia athlete, I've always felt that there is nothing better than being around the Delaware Valley when the Phillies are in the playoffs and the Eagles are rocking and rolling like they are right now.
Yeah.
The last few years have been really nice. This one could be even greater. Do you appreciate that, this area like
Absolutely. That? Spirits are high, man. Everybody is all well. Everybody's feeling good. Phillies, I'm not a big baseball guy.
Right.
But, I know that they're doing well. Good job. I have no idea what their record is.
But when you walk in, you see everybody wearing
the color. Everybody's wearing Phillies. And then, like the Eagles, man, it's all, this is Eagles Nation, man.
So it's been said, I think you've heard this, Andrew, that like an SEC game, the way the crowd is so Right?
Yeah.
You think that's fair? You're an SEC guy yourself.
Yeah, I'm an ACC, but I
that's
played
right,
against
that's
the
right.
SEC.
Come on now.
Yeah, I've played in the swamp. I played into some of those games, but yeah, from what I
Get you out.
I know, no.
By the way, there's been so much. There's been so much.
I'm good.
There's been so much. ACC now. Forgot the ACC still exists. Against the Bucks. I believe it was a night game where the Eagles won.
Yes, it
so
was.
it's not all doom and gloom. This is historical. They have won each of their first 3 games on the final drive of the game, which is the first time I believe I saw since the merger that's ever happened. So you got, Andrew, 2 very House of Horrors.
Field temperature. To the heat.
I just left Florida. Saturday, and it was. Oh yeah, man, it was cool, man. Just nice. We're going nice little walks. It just turns into this frying eggs. I remember that year.
Barth or somebody,
Yeah, man. But before last week, it was beautiful. It was beautiful down there.
There have been some epic games there. I mean, we
Yeah.
think about the, sorry to bring up the bad ones, but obviously the
Bryant.
Boo
yeah,
him.
you played in that game.
Yes, I did.
I had a friend at that game who said he almost died in the third quarter of heat exhaustion.
Oh,
It
wow.
was so hot that
It
day.
was hot that game.
Yeah, Donovan actually threw up that game, but it wasn't like a big headline. It was
it just happened.
Right. And then do you remember Nick Foles to Jeremy Maclin at the buzzer?
That must have been like
I want to
2014.
say in the Chip Kelly era, yeah.
2013,
Time
2014,
expired,
yeah.
right quarter of the end zone, yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah. How much does that heat really matter as a home field advantage for the Bucks at this time of the year?
I don't think it should matter that much this early in the year. Everybody's used to dealing with summer workouts. We're not that far into the cold season. I mean,
Right.
you know, it's 80 degrees now. You're practicing in warm areas. When it affects you is when you're talking about November, December. You know what I'm saying? When it's cold where you are, and then you got to go and deal with that heat. That's
Right.
when it becomes a problem.
Yeah, it's still pretty hot there in November.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're going out there a day early to acclimate to the heat. So,
What?
That is amazing.
I couldn't
Yeah,
wait
for
for
real.
Trey's response.
They're going out a day. Wait a minute.
For
so
real.
they're going out on Friday?
Yes.
Yeah. They're flying out Friday.
Yep.
To
Friday
do what?
night.
To
To
acclimate.
acclimate
So what are we
to
going
the
to act? What are we
temperatures.
doing? We're going to go lay out on the beach.
That's what
We're
I said. They
gonna
just
lay-
wanted an excuse
Let's
to hit
go
the
lay out
beach.
in the sun. Just take some sun in.
Yeah.
You know.
Go some
We go
deep
to
sea
see
fishing.
what kind of sunscreen we're going to use.
I'm not exactly sure what one day is going to make.
Yeah, I don't know what one day is going to do. Like, man, that's amazing. Man, I love this new era of football.
Yeah, you got
You know,
you
it's
got
like-
knuckleball kicks,
Yeah.
right? You got teams leaving a day early to go in the same time zone.
Go in the same time zone. Like, we would have to fly to, like, Alcatraz. You know what I'm saying? To leave a day early. They're leaving a day early just to go to Florida.
Yeah,
That's awesome, man. I love Sirianni and what they're doing right now. It's awesome. Good job.
yeah. But listen, you can't question it. They keep winning.
They keep winning. What can you say?
Yeah.
You know, because at first I was one of those guys that felt like, man, training camp needs to be physical. You know, and they're like, yo, I need guys to play in the preseason game. No, we don't need to do that. You know, we're winning.
Right.
Hey, shut me up.
Did you happen to go out to any training camp practices?
Hell no, I ain't go to training camp. What for?
No, to watch.
To do what? I didn't want to be at training camp when I was a player. I'm not going as a fan.
So I wanted to hear what the biggest difference was that you noticed. But
No, I have no idea. I'm not going to training camp. Don't invite me to training camp. I told anytime hey Trey, you want to come to training? No, I don't want to come to training camp. Why do I want to go to training camp?
bad
You're
memories.
scarred for
I
life.
don't want to go to training camp.
You're scarred for life. Is basically what you're saying.
I never go to. You know, I worked training camp last year with Kansas City with the Chiefs. I went out there with Big Red and worked with their offensive line. Fun experience. awesome time being back out there in the trenches with that. But to come back here and say, hey, man, you want to go to camp? No, I don't.
Yeah.
I can find a lot of things to do.
He didn't call you maybe 2 weeks before the Super Bowl and say, hey,
okay.
Trey,
So
I'm really hurting at left tackle here.
Here's the funny thing about that.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So in December, I text Big Red because I saw, like, all right, you know what? You're having some issues. They had benched Wanye, who was one of their tackles.
Yep.
And I sent Big Red some film. And I was like, hey, Big Red, man, this is what I'm seeing. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, he shot me a thumbs up emoji, like, yeah, no, we're good. I was like, all right.
Okay.
No, you're
They
not
weren't
good.
good.
No, you weren't good.
Well, in his mind, he's like, I'm just going to move my Pro Bowl left guard to left tackle, and I'm good, but it doesn't work that way.
Hey, it's going to work out. Don't worry about it. Thank you. Thank you for your information. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and go on with what we got. And I was like, all right. So, you know.
Listen, you
I
did,
tried
you
to
did your
tell
best. You did your best. You tried.
And this was way back in December. But,
Yeah.
you know, it was awesome to see
Hey,
how our guys went out there and handled the business.
we can't end this show without having a discussion about Eagles linebackers because for as long as you played for the Eagles, Trey, there was Jeremiah Trotter, and he was really good.
Carlos Emmons was
and
really
Carlos
good as
Emmons,
well.
Yeah.
But as you started,
Hot Tub Tony.
yeah, as you guys started to move on as a franchise, by your last few years there, it wasn't the same. And then after you left, I mean, the level of linebacker play, off-ball linebacker play, really started to deteriorate to a point where they were just throwing street free agents out there one year. To watch what Zach Bond and Jahad Campbell and Nakobe Dean last year, to watch the level that they've taken linebacker play here, what is that like for you?
You know what? I was just talking to Westbrook about this during the game on Sunday.
Shout out
we were
B-West.
just sitting there, yeah, and we was like, I'm like, man, you know, linebacker play just isn't like how it used to be. You know, it's not the Jeremiah Trotters of the game, senior. You know, linebackers that's going to come downhill and kill everything that moves. It's not like that anymore. These guys are a lot more skilled, I think, because they're asked to do a lot more. You know, where you have to go out there and you have to take on a tight end. You got to try to cover with some of these receivers coming across the middle. You got to pick up these linebackers. I think Zach Bond is one of those type guys that he can play downhill. You can see he's very smart where he'll hit the gap and go make those plays in the backfield. And then if you need him to get dropped back into coverage, he's extremely athletic to do that as well. Jahai Campbell, one of my guys from IMG, I was on the staff when he was down there. It's really amazing to see him come back home and to play as well as he's been playing. You know, really proud of what we're doing in that linebacker corps.
Shout out Timber Creek High School, Ariel, New Jersey, right around the corner from here. All right, Andrew, linebacker play, I think people have waited. You know the nature of people around here. They can't love success. They always think the shoe's going to drop. They keep waiting for Zach Bond to, like, for the coach to go back to a pumpkin. Like, this can't be real. And each week he makes a play that makes you say, no, that's just who he is. He's good.
I mean, look, he's not going to turn into a pumpkin. This is who he is. And I think you're seeing him grow more and more comfortable within the system, within Vic Fangio's defense. He's a longer player. Trey talked about Jahad Campbell. He's also a longer player. They can get after the quarterback. They can cover in space. They're just really smart football players that have a nose for the football. And then you have Nakobe Dean, who could be coming back at some point at the midway point this season. Smile Mondin, they drafted him. It's just a really well-rounded group of linebackers. And I think that they have really equipped themselves to have this, in place for the foreseeable future.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great future for the Eagles linebackers. It is a great current right now for Kyle Schwarber as he goes deep and tries to chase that home run record from Ryan Howard. We are out of time.
We're out of time?
Wait, Trey,
I just want one question.
No, I can save a minute for the great Trey
One question.
Thomas. Yes.
What are we doing as pass rushers?
Well, let me ask you this. The Rams were only facing 3rd and 5 and longer 3 times the whole game. Kind of hard when you're getting run on.
Yeah, I need a little bit more pass rush.
More juice.
Yeah,
more juice.
I need my guy. I need the guy to step up that say, you know what, he can go get me one.
Listen, Zadarius Smith might be that guy, but let's see. Let's see what happens this weekend.
All
Sunday,
right.
Tampa, Raymond James Stadium. That's going to do it for this show. We want to thank the great Trey Thomas here at Chickies and Pete's in Marlton, Andrew DiCecco, Geoff Mosher. You've been listening to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA here on 1490 BCB and 107.3 FM.
You're listening to 1490.